And so there's a certain amount of energetic output that the body needs in the form of just going through basic full ranges of motion through a human's existence, their daily existence. And those natural ranges of motion that the body would go through, sitting on the ground, kneeling, squatting, reaching up overhead, walking X number of paces each day.
Hey, Hilda here. I bring you experts' experiences and epic adventures to boost your health. When I was at PaleoFX, one of my favorite moments was in a workout class with Aaron Alexander. But I don't know if workout's the right word for it. He really invites us to explore movement in innovative ways. Check out my conversation with Aaron Alexander from the Align podcast. Thank you for being on my channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you talk a lot about alignment and how we underuse our bodies now. What's up with that?
What's up with that? Well, I guess it depends on what direction you want to go with it. What's up with it in the sense of what is the effect, or what's up with that in the sense of why is that the case?
Why, and then what's the effect?
Why is that the case is because humans are incredibly intelligent, and we had set out to make things more efficient and accessible, just for for obvious reasons over the years. So we went from at one point needing to see food hiding in the bushes and tracking it for days, and learning all of these skills in order to create shelter, in order to ambulate across the land, and like all of our life necessitated a lot more skill and challenge.
Right.
And because we're so darn smart through evolution, however that manifested itself, we managed to make it so that food is not out there, but it's just in this refrigeration system, and we managed to make it so that, toileting, we don't need to walk out into the woods someplace and squat in a way that would actually be way more efficacious or effective for our rectum to be able to elongate in order to allow a healthy poop defecation. So now we have a toilet 10 feet from our office space, and everything is inside of a room. When we have, it's very inconvenient to have a storm come, or winter come, or summer come, or be really humid, and our bodies have to naturally thermoregulate and adjust our internal core body temperature. So we are really smart, and we managed a way to just make a little container box reality for ourselves.
Too smart for our own physical good, really.
Yeah, for our own physical good for the most part. But then within that, there's also the opportunity to. So now we have the availability to be physically lazy, and that was never on the table historically, or you would just die. And so there's a certain amount of energetic output that the body needs in the form of just going through basic full ranges of motion through a human's existence, their daily existence. And those natural ranges of motion that the body would go through, sitting on the ground, kneeling, squatting, reaching up overhead, walking X number of paces each day, using your visual muscles to look out into the distance, to scan the horizon.
Instead, we're always like this, and so it affects our vision. All these things, you're right. Even keyless cars, right? Like you start the car like this, not even doing this motion anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's really cool, and it's not bad. It's actually amazing. So it's like wow, like that's so darn impressive that humans are that effective. Like wow, like kudos to humanity. We are so darn cool. And so now we have the opportunity to start to reintegrate some of those, you could say, like ancestral movements or indigenous movements or native movement patterns that are inherent to our health and function of literally every cell, joint, our nervous system, our endocrine system, like every aspect of ourselves, it runs on movement. And so when you start to have stagnation in any part of a relationship or a business or your money or your body or your blood or your lymph, that's the origin of disease.
Now, do you think going to a gym is good enough for someone's like, okay, I've got all those conveniences, but I go to the gym 4 times a week?
yeah, it's fine. You know, it's just the fact that you are willing to go to a gym is great. You know, there can, being in places like this. So we're at a thing called, you know, with the name paleo in it. And so within that, if you're in like the paleo movement, there can be a lot of judgment of people that are like not so like paleo. And that's fine, but what that is inherently is people crave community, they crave connection, they crave tribe, they crave identity. We don't really know who we are, we don't know who our people are, we want to feel safe, we want to feel connected. So we're like, cool, I'm like paleo guy. So then the idea of a person that goes to a gym, they're like not paleo enough. It's like, no, it's fine. Like whatever you do, it's just like your next move is your best move, is a reference to someone else. I didn't make that up. You know, so just whatever you do is pretty good.
Right.
You just need to wiggle your bits with some level of regularity. And the more regularity you wiggle your bits, the healthier your cells and body and emotions will be.
Yeah, because like a minute ago in a little movement workshop that you had us doing this like little wrist figure 8 motion, I'm thinking if people are working out like bench pressing or this or that, we might be missing bits that we would get in natural movement that our ancestors did.
That's correct. And I would even just let go of the ancestor idea, because who even knows what our ancestors were? Maybe
I like the ancestors.
You know, maybe Christianity is correct and we were all put here by God 6,000 years ago, or maybe Hinduism was correct, or maybe, you know, science is correct. Like, who the fuck knows, really? Like, what is evolution? All we really know is, like, this is happening right now.
Exactly.
Here we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitively clear that by you creating circulation through a broader range of motion through the entirety of your body, every toe, every metatarsal, ankle, every strand of muscle, and, you know, just all the bits.
Yeah.
That leads to a healthier, happier, more vibrant human being. We don't need to romanticize any other thing that we really have very limited knowledge of.
That's such a good point. I also think of Tommy John, who always says, like, move. And he's like, are you older? Move more. Are you injured? Move most. Do you agree with that philosophy?
Move most. It just depends. So it's like, yes, move. Make sure you're not perpetuating pain. You know, so if you're injured, maybe rest. like maybe move less. Actually,
I hope Tommy doesn't watch this video.
Yeah, like if you're injured, maybe move more passively. Maybe get more massage. Maybe do more meditation. Maybe do more movement from a thermogenic perspective. Do hot, cold compression or ice plunge or sauna. Maybe just take walks in the woods.
Yeah.
Maybe smoke some cannabis and kind of just roll around on, you know, a yoga mat for an hour.
You know what I think he's trying to get at is, let's say I injure my shoulder. It's not injured. What I could do to avoid that injury is to strengthen. Like, if I strengthen my body enough, it wouldn't get there. The reason it got injured in the first place is it's that part of my body saying, you're not using me enough. I think that's what he's trying to get at.
Yes, and oftentimes issues that we have, we can just put them into the bucket of it needs to be stronger, but oftentimes it's more of an issue of sequencing. And so you might be really strong in the sense of like those muscles are like super well toned, you know, or maybe like hypertonic and hypertrophied and like super jacked. But they're jacked because they're compensating for inhibited muscles elsewhere. So it's not just blindly move more. There's also an art and a science to understanding how to integrate the parts in a way so that you really can come to a place where it is just move more, because all of your movements actually just perpetuate this alignment.
Now, can you just tell us the couple things that you said were the most important bits to remember as we go about our lives right now? At the end of the workshop, you said 2 things. Do you remember what they were?
Nope.
I think one was pull. Think about being intentional about the first part of your movement, the eccentric contraction, I guess, as opposed to, like when I do a push-up, I think about pushing up. But you said maybe think about pulling down, because then when you do that, you're more intentional, right?
Yeah, you're more intentional and you're actively loading the muscles. So if you're just passively dropping into a position, whether it's a push-up or a squat or a lunge, or just any movement, by you actively engaging yourself into that movement, you're loading the tensional systems in that joint and in those muscles to be able to spring back. If you're flaccidly just dropping into a thing, you have to re-recruit yourself to come back into a position of integrity. So by you actively staying in integrity the whole time, by driving yourself eccentrically, in this case, into that new range of motion, you stay in a ready position through the movement.
Right, I like that. And I could feel things engaging slightly differently. And then the other thing that I walked away with was be curious, like move in ways like a kid would. Like if I was curious about something, I might just go like this and then get up and, check it out, as opposed to, I don't know, just moving always the same way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, correct.
So I appreciate your time today. I appreciate what you taught us in there. I just got your book, and I hope to talk to you on the podcast soon. So thanks again, Aaron.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for watching, you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of my guest in this conversation. Make suggestions for other people I should have on my YouTube channel. And click on the notification bell so you can know every time I upload a new video. Thanks so much. Hasta pronto.